mounting. It looks exactly like this. It looks exactly like a world deck. It will look like it's like a color. But it's small. It's like 12 inches. So it's like
that looks fake. That looks like I generated.
Like Adelaide, yeah, when I've had
that was
There's so much I don't want actually. Look at the I like the name.
yeah, I would yeah, why?
Like if I could get myself to wear that, I just am not a beanie person, and I want to force myself. I'm currently
if you don't buy that. I mean, I have to buy necessities.
Do we do this? I had left or no?
there's a way to get rid of that with
All these guys.
I only say it when you're all together.
yeah, it's like eating it.
Because bro, it's not shipping until July.
Supposed to have sauce. Yeah, I've been ordering it for now.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, you're
Just be disappointed that I
Wait, what?
That's probably not.
Does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
it's going to be very large.
Okay. I mean, if I had a dog, I'd rather a dog. They can stay so cheap.
You don't.
It's like a default getting ready.
No, because I was just looking at branches to see who. And I see where. Messages.
No, my challenge.
And it had like 13,000 lines.
My challenge is really close to being done. Like it's very close. I gave up on Rust and I just went to Python. I did the whole thing in like 3 hours. No, the actual architecture I wrote an out-of-order execution architecture. Because it's Python, it's only like 3 hours. The ability to go from Rust to have both a linked list of objects and the ability to maintain pointers into that linked list from other places is transcendent.
I mean, actually, it's pretty simple. You just use the boxers.
No. Those are the linked list in Rust. You can't do them well.
You can do them pretty well.
No.
My stage is
You can technically do. Look up how to do a linked list, a doubly linked list.
Oh wait.
You'll be horrified.
Really? Yeah, just use. Actually, wait. Let me look it up.
You literally just can use a box.
that works.
I'm not gonna.
I also can't even mix with them.
No, it fucks with the lifetime.
No, it
The
doesn't.
only reason I realized the benefit of it
It's only a doubly linked list on an embedded system.
is so quick to do.
Because then you have no STD, which means you have no alloc.
You can find Wait, is this valid? Is this valid?
It is worth setting.
Yes.
What's the type of raw link of
Draw link is just.
Well, it has
It's a pointer to immutable.
Oh, she was doing better.
pointer in?
Oh, shit, like.
Next is a box, the previous is
The node is option to box, and then previous is crawling.
But like the reorder
Said
button,
no, got it.
Right.
She really was
I
like.
have like multiple things that just maintain pointers. We're going to write at the same time.
Yes, it's that easy.
You need to maintain pointers.
Yeah, then you box it.
It would just be that.
Again,
If we were to just start.
it's not that bad. It's just weird when you don't know something.
Is it all? Yeah, it's just honestly, I was
Cheapest
done.
option in Euro.
No, that's fair. So I was like, yeah, but in Python, and all of the issues I was facing.
It's like my memory system is a single
Like, they're one of my friends.
No, and then I was looking at it. Does this color remind you of something?
And then my
You get instantly, right?
is a linked list where there are then loading the pointers. So it's basically a doubly linked list.
Yeah. The problem is with the asynchronous execution, like with the out of order execution, like You're playing around like
Yeah.
It's just like,
I will say there were a couple things that Rust handles for register, like the fact that register can either be
I don't know.
or like a reference buffer. And like the ability to have like a Rust enup with like those.
no, I love my favorite part because I have code gen of my.
Yeah, you're moving in line matching.
Yeah, that's the thing that going back to Python, I was like,
No, like it was super nice to just kind of code gen, like code genning the
I hate doing like
Wait, what?
like not having some.
This is quick and easy. I only even remember how to do it one
Oh,
day.
sum as in like. Wait, what's the sum of sum as in?
You just kind of do otherwise.
Option is a
CP and then
value
you're ending your
or sum is an option. Sum is a value of
Alright, it's just great.
So, option is an enum, where you can have something or nothing.
did you go with them?
Okay, think of TypeScript.
Yeah.
It's you either have a pointer, you either have an object or undefined.
Oh, okay, so that's what.
He texted me at like 9:30. I was already.
Please go into Canvas and pull down material, mark Apr10 for your lab, and push it up to whatever virtual machine and/or EdLab or your local you are going to use
And then you
to use a lab.
Your local. I'm going to look into the local.
And give me strong, purposeful eye contact when you've done so. Excellent. Nice one.
Yeah, no, that's not.
While you're doing that, I'm going to draw on the board like me.
Yo, where's my picture?
Get the canvas materials for the lab. Eye contact. I'm going to draw it backwards so that it looks like the same way we think about the stack.
I just want to say. How are you modding me if I also have that? So,
Oh yeah, you got me. Yes. You go
see,
to.
the thing is, I have to manually.
Yeah.
I just get it done.
I saw you start to
It's not
respond
built,
back. Like I
it's
said,
totally unbuilt. I guess that's like
a second to like delete your message and stop typing. I was like, he's adding you. I was waiting for it to tell. No, this is
to like make a joke.
too good. But to be everywhere. I almost bought Nitro so I could use that emoji. I regained my self-respect before doing that.
It's fun because
What's happening?
it was a one last kick. Now it's good.
It really does, and then you really realize. Dude, I'm so mad at that.
The cybersec thing is you got.
It's gonna crush it.
I wanted to use like a TP.
But I should have. Here's my neck.
But I was worried about like structural integrity.
And it turned.
Yeah, so it's only complicated because I cut up.
Apparently, there's a macro. I honestly didn't know, but I meant to put the colons and I just forgot.
Yeah,
He said it, I was like, oh yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, no, you put
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to get this
No,
off.
Does anyone like aware that
My plan is a macro that just turns it. Honestly, there was probably some guy that was tired of like 9,000 tickets from you.
So does anyone like care? You know, like more
Put a macro like, go away.
There's a way to like split it.
Oh, that's 100% true.
I've noticed. Well, I mean, for your people.
So
Oh yeah, so like for like my people, for my people, white people, I'm saying it's really fascinating that all these like they would like.
And then to be able to move around.
And
maybe I could have
that way, like, so there's room for two people.
the processing.
Yeah, no, Obama was in controversy. Trump's gonna be there like active.
Well, you seem overall
And I wanna I really wanted to learn like like
I didn't know you were
no.
Oh, I think it's.
Yeah, like this. So I want to learn that over the summer. If I don't land anything, then I'll be like, hey, look,
I made this. I feel like that would be.
The same. That's what I looked at.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, Leon and I decided.
All right, so this is going to be our first heap exploit, but it's not really going to be indicative of what a heap exploit looks like in the real world, because this is not a real world problem. This is a problem that is meant to demonstrate attacking the complex structures in the allocator, and we are using it as an example here today to get you to learn a couple second order reasoning techniques for owning things. We will start to look at the heap as the heap immediately after this when we get into the low fragmentation style heaps where the metadata is not in line, and that will require us to do a bunch of manipulation of the state of the program before we need to consider owning the thing. I like you when you come in late. Sorry. Just kidding. So this is the first time that we're going to be looking at owning something on the heap, though, and so it's going to be a little bit different than what you are used to looking at the stack. This program makes a lot of assumptions that are not necessarily true, but will hold for the lab, okay? One of those assumptions, which is not necessarily true and will almost never be true when you do something on the heap in the wild, is that these two pieces are going to be concurrent. This is a very small program. It's single-threaded. Nothing else is going on. That's almost never happening when we're working extensively with the heap. If you just came in, make sure you grab the material off Canvas to follow along on the lab and put it someplace you can follow along on the lab. This is the apr10.c. There's also this file, which is unlink.py. You may also want that malloc.c from the prior dlmalloc class to follow along with. That's going to be important later. All right, so we've got these two contiguous pieces of memory, and they are each heap chunks, right? So we allocate the first one, and I've drawn this the same way you're used to looking at memory on the stack, which is low address to high address, right? You've got pbuff1 is allocated first, so it's at the lower address. It contains, at the start, the chunk header, right? If we look on malloc.c, which I'll pull up real quick so we can take a look at it. Anytime you make a malloc chunk, you get this structure, okay? And because structures are never reordered, you can always guess exactly what this thing's going to look like in memory, right? And counterintuitively, the thing at the top will be at a lower offset. So prev size is the very first thing at 0 offset. Size is at +4. FD is at +8. BK is at +C. The whole thing is, in this case specifically, 16 bytes total. So 4 4-byte values, right? And so that's what I've drawn here. 0, 4, 8, C. You will note that when this thing is in use, only prev size and my size are actually used. And these guys are only existent when the chunk is free. When the chunk is in a free state, it belongs to the allocator. It no longer belongs to the program. And so it can do extra things with it. This is how the allocator thinks of this chunk. When you call malloc, you get a pointer right in the middle of that structure, okay? So your data starts here, and this is the preceding 8 bytes, okay? So if you get a pointer from malloc, and you take that pointer as an int, I'm sorry, not as an int, as a char star, and you subtract 8 from it, and then you look at the 2 integers that live there, you will see the size of the previous chunk and the size of your chunk. You can do that in the debugger. I suggest you do, just so that you can really get a concrete feel for this, okay? So that's our first one. Immediately subsequent to that, because nothing else has happened in this toy program, and this is not necessarily the case all the time, but in this case it is. These two are immediately adjacent. So the very next thing after your, from here to here, 100 hex bytes, you asked for 100 bytes in the program, or 256. What it actually gives you is 100 plus 8 in hex, or 264, right? Yeah, I can't do decimal math, but you guys can't count, so we're even. Immediately after that is the header for the next chunk, and then another 100 hex bytes, okay? The bug here is extremely simple. Can somebody tell me what it is?
Use after free?
No.
Oh, no, I can't.
A buffer overflow because they just use gets.
Thank you. Buffer overflow. You should take the 1 credit course in reading.
I thought that said pbuff2.
Pull it up. Do you have it up? Pull it up. So yeah, it's pbuff1 and then 2, so they're adjacent, and the gets is into pbuff1. So your write is going to start here, where the arrow is, and it's going to go upward, okay? And in this case, what you're going to smack is this header right here, okay? So normally on the stack, you are smacking into other locals, or you're smacking into the control data for the stack itself. On the heap, you're going to hit 2 possible things. You're going to hit the stuff that's in the heap, right? So if you write and you keep going past here, this is all program data, theoretically, that you would be able to overwrite and control, okay? And on the way, you're going to smack, for inline allocators, you'll smack the metadata that just happens to live there, right? In this case, we're going to attack that metadata, and we're going to do it in a somewhat convoluted way. Okay, so after that overflow occurs, we're going to free pbuff2, okay? So that's going to kick off a set of algorithms, some of which we discussed extensively for 2 classes, 1 class ago, if you can remember that far back, when we talked about DL malloc, right? And our goal is to, once we have corrupted this header, when pbuff2 gets free, we're going to make use of the code in malloc that does the freeing to get something advantageous, okay? And in order to do that, we're going to have to do some second order work. And what I mean by that is you are fairly used to smacking something and then automatically getting a good primitive off of it, right? When you're looking at those attacks where you're hitting locals, you get ret, you immediately get EIP, right? You get, you hit that function pointer, and one of the last homeworks, you immediately get EIP. In this case, what's going to happen is we're going to crash, and that's step 1. Is corrupt it so that it crashes, and then we're going to go through the steps of looking at where we are when it crashes, what we have control over, and what the program's going to do. And we're going to have to manipulate it in several different ways in order to get something useful. The thing that's useful that we're going to get here from our unlink is going to be a write what where. It's going to be a strange write what where, and it's going to have restrictions on it. But it'll be plenty enough in a normal circumstance to own it. Caveat here, in order to get an old enough glibc working where the unlink is still viable, I had to statically link it on an old system. Now the way that you normally do this, because this program is so limited, is that you hit the global offset table with your write what where. And then when the second free gets called, you are, oh, I already edited this one. So normally it's just free here, and when the global offset table entry for free gets called, that's when you get your execution. because it's statically linked, there is no global offset table. And so the second thing I thought is, well, we'll hit detours. When you exit a program, there is in the .read section, there is an array of function pointers. And if there are any function pointers in there that aren't -1, it calls them as the program's exiting. It lets you clean things up, right? A lot of the time, a library that you've loaded will need to clean up. Or it'll say need to flush its buffers if you have like file streams, right? That's the thing that needs to happen at the end. So what you can do is right there. So I thought, all right, cool, we'll do that in the class. Turns out, in the version that I compiled on Red Hat 9, it placed detours at 08 OA, and OA is a new line, and that truncates the input. So we couldn't do that either, so I wrote a different one, which is AV09 map, which is the one we're actually going to use here, where I kind of made an extremely obnoxious vtable in main. It's not pretty. I apologize for that. You are not going to have to dig into that. You are going to have to dig into malloc. And once we get a write what where, I'll show you exactly how that stuff works. Cool? But for now, what I want you to do is bring up on one side of your machine AV09 map. And make sure you're looking at it here. And then on the other side, you're going to have this unlink.py, which is your template to work with. And we're going to talk about how to get control of this function, the free function. Okay? So let's walk through this free function real quick together, and we'll see where we're going to go. Immediately after this class, we're going to have a grad section, and I actually would suggest that anyone who happens to have a free time and really cares about this stuff, stick around even if you're not in the grad section, because I'm going to go through how you would reverse engineer this kind of in a little bit more of a blind sense. There are two ways to understand programs, and you have to understand them in both ways, and you kind of go back and forth in trying to figure this stuff out. The first way that you can understand a program is in terms of the intentions of the programmer, right? Doug Lee wrote this, and his intention was, if I free something, I've got to keep track of which chunks are free. If there are multiple free chunks next to each other, I got to put those back together. That's his intention. And he went about accomplishing that using this source code, okay? That's way one to understand a program, and if you understand the program at that level, it makes it much easier to read through assembly and figure out what's going on, because you know what they meant to do, right? Here's the second way. No matter what, even if you don't understand it in the first method, you must understand it in the second method to get by. The second method of understanding is what is enforced by the assembly, okay? Every program is a flowchart, right? And when you are identifying bugs, you're going to say, this part of the flowchart, that's where the bug is. I got to get there somehow. And at each branch, anytime there's a jump not equal, jump 0, something like that, where it could go in one direction or the other on the flowchart, it's checking something, it's making the decision, and then it's moving through the flowchart, right? Does that make sense to everybody? That's how you should think about functions in general, is as that sort of flowchart, okay? What you really need to understand, and this is the type 2 understanding, is at each decision point where it decides what block to go to, what's it looking at to make that decision? Do I control it? Okay? And so you can, even if you have no idea what a program is supposed to be doing, you can look at that flowchart and say, in my input data, the second 4 bytes make the decision whether to go left or right. Okay, I set a breakpoint on that. I look at it, I see my 4 bytes. It goes the wrong direction. What do I do? What do I do?
Figure out why that happened.
Yeah, you figure out what in the 4 bytes it's looking at, and then
Change it and try again.
you change it so it goes the direction you want, right? And even if you have no idea what that program is supposed to be doing or why it's doing it, if you can get to the block with the bug, you still win, right? And even if you understand what they meant to do, the way the compiler compiled that is not going to be exactly the way they meant it. And so you still need to be able to get to that block. You can have a perfect understanding of how the thing works, that if you can't manipulate your data to get to that block, you're not going to win, right? I generally go in both directions at the same time. If you are looking at something you don't understand, it's a closed source program, you're going to be sitting in the debugger and saying, what data is it looking at to make the decision? Why is it making that decision? And you will use that to figure out what are they intending to do. And you will, as you go through a program, reversing it, you will understand their intention more, and that will influence where you set your breakpoints to figure out where you want to go. So it's a back and forth between static and dynamic. In the grad lecture after, I'm going to show that and how I go about kind of mapping this source to disassembly. I'm going to give you the disassembly for this section. This is what we're going to do. Okay? We are going to be making use of this backward consolidation block right here. Okay? So this is the code here, and let's do a fun thing and synchronize that with our height view. And then we're going to go. Okay. So you can see, here's the check, and here's the start of that block. The start of that block is, write this down please on a piece of paper somewhere, 0804 C647. Okay? This is the code disassembled. This is the whole block in assembly between here and here. This is our unlink. This is what we're trying to target. These 2 instructions right here, these 2 moves, that's going to give us our right what where. Okay? In the source code, that is represented by this unlink here. That is not a function, it's a macro. And the macro is pretty straightforward. All right, there's the macro. It's just a doubly linked list unlinked. Okay. Our goal is going to be to get here in a state where we can control the back and forward. And this is how we're going to do that. In order to do that on link, to cause it to get to that block, what it needs to see is 2 free adjacent chunks, and then it's going to put them together into one big chunk, right? And in doing that, it's going to remove one of those free chunks from the free doubly linked list. That's going to give us the unlink. You've got this overwrite. And these are the guys that are going to get you what you need to do that. Okay? Right now, what's my size for pbuff? At allocation time.
100.
100 hex. What's my size for pbuff 2? 100 hex. Both of these are 100. 100. This is unknown. The prev size here. What's this value? What's the prev size from the buff2 header, pbuff2 header? 100. 100 hex. That's the size of pbuff1, right? Okay. Actually, we're all off by 8. These sizes take into account the whole thing, not what you asked for. Does that make sense? So the whole header. So all of these are then going to be what? I cannot, I'm deaf, please help me out.
108.
108, there we go, 108. This marker sucks, I'm sorry. I'm gonna buy my own markers, that's what teachers do, they buy their own materials. 108, 108, 108, unknown. Okay. So, we need to have 2, what's up?
You want a better marker?
Oh God, yes I do. Did you just bring markers to class?
Yes.
Nice, bro. That's gonna look so good on video. All right. We've got that one free call. Let's go back and look at that again. We're going to be using a VO9 map, but I'm going to show you from this one because it's just simpler. It doesn't have the nonsense that is not involved in this anyway. We're going to get that free pbuff2. I'm going to change it back to its original. Yeah, okay. When this free gets called, that's when we need to do all of our work. If we try to do some of our work here, we got nothing else to work with for overwrite except detours, so probably you could still do it, but it's not necessary. So when this gets called, we need to have 2 consecutive free chunks. This is how we're going to do that. We know what a chunk looks like. It is not necessary for the program to create a chunk. Just like you can create arbitrary code that runs, you can create arbitrary data structures to change how programs run. And so what you're going to do is this. You're going to change this prev size, and you're going to change the my size. Actually, just the prev size is necessary. You're going to put a fake one right here. Okay, so it's going to be fake prev, fake next size, that's like my size, fake next pointer, sorry, forward is what it's called, W, and a fake back pointer, okay? So what's our prev size going to be?
Eight.
Plus?
Well, the one above it, right? Like the real prev size in the second one, wouldn't it just be 8?
So this here is how big?
C.
Almost.
10.
Yes. Right? So 0, 4, 8, C, 10. Okay? So then what's your prev size going to be? Do subtraction, someone. They should never have taken this out of the math department. You raising your hand? So I'm going to do one of the counters, go to the counting channel, find 108, go back 10 hex, which is 16 decimal, and tell me what number the person wrote there.
98.
Someone deleted the entire channel.
98?
Next 98? No.
No.
Well, F8?
F8, thank you.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that.
F8.
No, that's my bad.
Does everybody understand why it's F8? What's 100 minus 8? What's 100 hex minus 1? FF, okay?
No, that's my bad.
So now, what we're going to do is smack this guy with F8. Okay? And so, what's our buffer going to look like? This is a rhetorical question. You're going to write it in Python right now. Go. I have provided you in the Python a function, pack header, which will take a prev size, a my size, a next, and a prev, and pack it all for you. So what I kind of want to see here is 2 calls to pack header. 1 call for your fake chunk, 1 call for pbuff2, and enough space to put them both in the right spot. Does that make sense? Get a move on. TAs, circulate. Who is lost completely? Strong, purposeful eye contact, so I can come help you. You may work together if you feel like that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Remember, the key is to do subtraction.
Oh, she what she said.
And
So, let's start with.
I got no excuse. I just I have moments sometimes.
Exactly.
We're not smart.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yes.
let's
Wait, actually, first we need previous.
Yeah.
so then we could align both of the other things. So we're doing 100. First number is 100x. And we're minusing the so we're right. We're starting from
Okay, so it's gonna be 100
so leave together the headers.
Just like the numbers, right? Like the.
If you can't see the board and you're lost, come down here and I'll talk through it again in a place you can see the board.
Yeah, that's probably good.
So just do.
Do you guys just have?
I forgot I had one in my bag. That was a
No,
terrible.
you need a
red marker.
You want to try again?
Arrow, you're doing it. Have it again. That's
We're good again.
not good. Do it again. Oh, go for it. I'm sorry.
Watch your head. She's a bad thrower. I'm a good catcher then. Okay.
I forgot I had it.
Maria, you want a red marker?
What the?
I forgot I have markers in my bag.
Andrew, you pulled that out the funniest time. I hope you know that.
All right, okay.
I like how there's
So check this out. What you actually have for the first two is here to here,
I have this stack there.
here to here. They're right next to each other. And the header kind of comes 8 bytes before, right? So the pointer you get back from Malik is right in the middle of the header, and that's always the case.
So, got the people.
These two pieces of the header are not used at all if the chunk is in use, if the program's using the chunk. If it's free, then they get used, right?
Okay.
Okay,
That's
so
what pbuff wants, right?
yes, pbuff1, here's a low address. Oh,
Yes.
okay, and we got two chunks next to each other. We have the ability to write upward, and this is the metadata that we are going to make use of to get control of this thing, okay? So we need to do an overflow into this header for the second chunk. Currently it's 108, 108, 108, 108, and they're both in use. The program is using them, right? When we free it, it's going to come here and it's going to say, is the previous chunk freed or not? If it's not free, cool, we're done. Is the next chunk free or not? If it's not free, cool, we're done. However, if the previous chunk is free, we've got to put them together to make one big chunk. And that means we take both of them off the free list. Or we take one of them off the free list, right? And so it was going to make use of the back and forward pointer, which is these unused pieces, to remove it from the doubly linked list. And it'll use that onLink function to do so. So it goes, prev next is equal to my next, and next prev is equal to my prev, and now this guy's gone, right? That's how you remove something from the linked list. What we are going to do is say, okay, I'm going to corrupt this. The way that I can corrupt this to be useful is I can change the prev size. So when it looks at the previous one, rather than looking here for the data, it's going to look at this address minus what our prev size is in order to find the start of that buffer, right? All these sizes, remember, take into account the whole size of the structure, not what's asked for. So this is 10, we subtract 10 here, it's going to say, all right, me minus 10, boom, here, cast that to the header. Because I control all this, you wrote up here, and this is just inside pbuff, you're going to make your own fake chunk header there, which looks exactly like a normal one. Prev size, my size, forward and back. And now you have control of how the free function is going to move through
what it's doing, right? It's going to say, all right, I got to do consolidation. I'm going to look back. I'm going to check to see if it's free. Therefore, we need to mark this guy as free. Okay, now these two things are valid in addition to these. And we can have it say, all right, we're going to consolidate these two together. So it's going to remove this chunk from the free list. And then it's going to add this size to this size to make them one thing together. And then it's going to put that pointer on the free list. Okay? So in order to make this exploit work, your first step is figure out how much you have to write from pbuff1 to corrupt this number. How much do we have to write from pbuff1 to corrupt this number? Say we want to do a full overwrite for the previous size. How much is that?
Do we start writing from here?
Yes. Right? The program, when a chunk is allocated, it doesn't get the actual pointer to the start of the chunk as far as the allocator is concerned. It gets something in the middle because this stuff needs to be conserved. When you are writing as your program, you write from the start of the pointer to whatever the size is and assume that's all yours, and it is, right?
So we're overwriting size.
Yep, you're going to write from pbuff1 to previous size. So
So
how much
is 256, right? And this is 8, so don't we have to write 56 minus 8 to get here?
No. Here to here is 256.
Oh, okay.
If you ask for 256, you get 256.
So 260.
It has another 8 tacked on for itself. It's like that scene in Indiana Jones where they have to add a couple inches to the stick for the god whose chunk that is.
Yeah.
So do we write 260 bytes then, so we can overwrite the size to our
Yeah.
So it's going to try.
Yes. I have to translate into stupid numbers. Right? 104 hex, right? So if you write from here to here, 104 hex. Now when it does the free here, it's going to look inside this space, okay? So the first thing that you can do is, in order to make sure that you've got this right, is just write 104 hex, 100 hex, and then write F8 here.
So this is just.
So you would even need to write 257 to write that one byte there, right? No, I'm wrong. It has to be, because it's 108, so it has to be another 2 bytes, yeah. So this should be 0 F8, right? And then what you will see is a crash looking at whatever you wrote here. So say you wrote A's here, it's going to crash looking at 41414141. Okay?
Okay.
So that's step 1. Get that. Once you've got that, now you write yourself a fake chunk. Okay? The easiest way to do this is you use this pack header, and so what you have is you're going to write all this with A's or whatever. Then you're going to write a fake chunk, which you used from the pack header. Then you're going to write a whole another chunk right here. Okay? And then pick nonsense values for everything in here first, or at least for here, that you will recognize. Okay? Here's why. When it uses them and it crashes, you want to recognize your data in there, and you want to validate what you're thinking, right? If you, now that you know where the thing starts, what was it, 0804C, who wrote it down?
0804C647.
C647, right? You can set a breakpoint on that address and make sure you get there, okay? If you don't get there, your problem is the in-use bit, okay? In use, because these guys can only be on multiples of 16 bytes, which is the size of the header, right? You're never going to allocate less than that. The low order bits are useful to you for flags. And so those flags, if you look at the allocator, we talked about this during the other classes, it says, is this an M-mapped thing or is it a regular chunk? Is it in use or not? And what other thing that I can't remember. So there's like 3 different flags there. One is your in-use flag. So if you OR this number with 1, it'll say, oh, the previous one's in use or the previous one's not in use, okay? First things first, right up here, get it to crash. Second thing second, put these fake chunks here, get all the numbers right, and make these line up too. So my size here would be what? What's my size for the fake chunk? It's already written on the board elsewhere.
10.
Okay, what's the previous size?
Is that a thing?
Just 100.
It's, 108 minus 16, which is F8, right?
Why minus 16?
Because you put this fake chunk here,
Okay.
right?
Oh, yeah.
F8.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so now this pref size is what?
10.
10. Right? And my size stays the same because we didn't change it, okay? So make that work, get it to crash. When you get it to crash, raise your hand, call me over, and we'll go over next steps when sufficient people have crashed it.
It's a crash.
Crashing. You haven't even written over the header use.
You should also have
Where are the TAs wanted?
the mallet code kind of sitting there. And now that you know exactly where this unlinked block sits, you can kind of map up the rest of the program, or the rest of the function. So the other thing you might want to set a break on is where int3 is, which is the head of the function itself, which is at 0804 C5E0 is your int3 address. So those are the two places you may want to set breakpoints. If you get to int3 and you don't get to this here, here's the check for it. We need to make sure we pass the check. And that is a in-use bit check, right? It says my size and 1, if that's equal to 0. Okay? So the question is the in-use bit set or not? Is that my size or is that pretty size? Did I write that right? D should be my size. Yeah.
Right, do you have the big header? No, I don't have it. I mean, yeah, but it was like do this one first.
I'd let you skip a step here. If you were doing this in kind of a blind way, which we'll go through in the grad section, you would just corrupt this and see what happens. And what would happen is you would crash inside free. And then you would say, okay, what can I do to manipulate the free function to my benefit? It turns out this is the way to manipulate it to your benefit, right?
Okay.
But it's a little bit more convoluted than you would think at first glance, right? A lot of people will look at a crash and say, I can't see how to get control from this crash, therefore it's not exploitable. Somebody was doing a use after free in Larry's group and said, I don't think this use after free is exploitable. And I said, why don't you think it's exploitable? And they said, well, the function doesn't do anything that I think is exploitable. Well, the function called 7 other functions, but this individual didn't see fit to show me what was in the 7 other functions. Any one of those 7 other functions could have done something that's exploitable. And what it means is, until you've proven it's not exploitable, you keep digging to see what the function actually does, right? Anytime a function makes use of a pointer that you control, you have a very strong chance of gaining information from it, modifying the run of the program, gaining control of the run of the program, right? Anytime the program does not work the way it's supposed to, you got a chance. And in modern programs, things are very complicated. There's a lot going on. You have programmers that don't really understand why things are crashing, and so they put them in I accept blocks, and some things that wouldn't otherwise be exploitable are very exploitable because you can do them multiple times. So, it's more likely than you think. But in that case, I think this person was right because it's probably a single-threaded application. If it was a multi-threaded application, it would be much more likely to be doable. What are you looking at?
Yeah. He asked me first.
You said no?
I said, I don't know. You could ask Lorraine.
I don't know. It's usually the right answer. But you've proven otherwise.
The address though.
We're reading detours or free hook?
Say what?
Are we reading detours or free hook?
Oh yeah, I just did.
What?
It's the SCS1 plus.
I finished the everything else.
I just did /star. Or to get all, it's just everything in this script.
This is a pretty good thing.
She just said.
Oh, I don't know. Strings of red. I guess we would have to look at what we're actually trying to like which value is actually.
This works.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wait, what are your? I just I changed the buffer to like right over because you're writing 100 and then 2 digits next thing it would be like 104. It takes you 108. I think that's what it is. Fuck up crash. At least it should fuck with use after free, but it ain't.
Totally readable.
Oh, I should make a program.
Are making them both ABC?
Make it like that, so it makes more sense to do later on. It's like
A wild truce.
do that.
Right.
Well, don't make life harder for yourself later.
How did you? I actually did look at that. Ended up saw the meme kind of giggle. I don't know.
Hard. Everybody want a hacker, eh? Be a hacker. Ain't nobody want to do the hard ass place.
Oh, I see.
I haven't run it. So, but I don't, let me just put some.
Yeah. Oh, just a brand.
Yeah, like for now, just put some.
And not even touched on the hardest part of the heap. This is just like manipulating the structures.
This is good. This is where I started. This is the first one.
Oh, do you process?
That write up for the pseudo is actually really good because that was only a 1 byte overflow.
I was.
And so could this be in some cases, right? If the size happens to be right, you can take both sides.
Our design is open.
Wait, let me.
It's like nobody going out.
Anybody need me to come look over their shoulder and help them out because they're lost?
It's no, it just means. What did you change?
Any other like.
I just added the big header stuff.
Anyways. Here, running up.
Oh wait, I didn't even add it. I didn't even put it in there. Well, yeah. Why does this work? Oh wait. I know.
Can I ask a question?
So
Yeah.
debug.
And then like we
Okay.
The first thing to do is make sure that
I'm busy the mental work.
Oh, okay. It was the
But yeah, it's better to have because essentially we're trying to
do that, and I don't have the big header running right now. That runs perfectly. Of course, I'm
and then you can the existing chunk that we're right up to it.
Does that mean finish?
Oh, you just have to make one.
I don't think so. Did you want it to scratch?
You got your
Maybe.
yeah, I got
And then
Okay, yeah, so I get exit normally there.
you'll have to make this work out.
So actually it's all
If there's nonsense different nonsense of taking wrecking.
Like writing,
Yeah, just kind of, I mean, either way, it's like.
So they it's kind of safe. Okay, so
My side is
well, this is maybe just you trick that.
yeah, it's like right underneath, like.
I definitely think that this is like the masterpiece of a beginner hacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can do this, then you have fun without help.
Yeah.
Then you're
If we want to.
nothing more complicated.
I did when I like read about DLML, like, and I was like, how does DLML actually work? And I like went through the whole thing, and I thought I had to make it. And I was like, okay. Like I see the 1 byte overflow, the use that whole thing. To see when I felt like I totally like got that was the moment I was like, wait a minute, I think I actually like get what's happening.
So what it's going to do is it's going to merge these.
Yeah, and you can also see like in USPIT is not obvious how it works. So sometimes rather than trying to understand it, it's easier to go to a place where you branch in the wrong direction and be like, oh, that's the bit I need to do.
all of those, I just put it
About like this. So here, with this two, do we need to like create the headers twice?
No. Okay, so the header itself is
my first one.
and so this is always there. This is always there. This is there when it's free. We're making a fake free.
I was just writing last
You
night.
need this, all four values.
Yep.
So in my understanding, I just do 260 this, and I call create header once.
Yep. So you're gonna overwrite this, but you're also gonna overwrite this. So you'll have a fake chunk and then a pbuf too.
I overwrite this too.
Yeah, well you have to overwrite this, or else this is not relevant to the next program, right? So you can just go over this, overwrite the whole thing, overwrite both.
So I overwrite this header and this header.
Yep.
Oh, and when I
By
overwrite
overwriting this header,
this header.
yeah, by overwriting this, you make this relevant to the alloc.
Oh, because I do first size 10 and I connect them.
Yes. Yeah. And so all these sizes now link up to make this look like it's real.
Okay. Oh, okay. I had a question. How do they point to each other? How do they know that this is gonna point here just by size?
Because all of the chunks in a heap are contiguous. You map all these contiguous pages. You know that there is no space that isn't used.
Okay.
So if I know my size, I know where this one is. I know the previous size, I know where this one is.
Okay.
My size, I know where this one is, and the previous size, I know where this one is. There's always the same.
So my size is gonna be next one. So now I know even the next one. Okay.
Okay, but it's almost like it says permission denied or something.
We have this.
So you gotta do Shabbat.
This is
I
our.
think so.
And we want to.
Yeah, the canvas download doesn't have execute. So you gotta
We have it running right now.
No, it's not how.
Where's TA? Where's TA?
The next drop is get some of the back. In this case, back right now, this back would be what you see here, and this.
Somebody behind got a second.
Is that?
That's good.
You see that?
That means you
So now what we want to do is we want to merge. So
No, they have a crash.
This
We're
we're gonna
going
get
to
rid
the
of.
right crash.
And you don't know it's the right way. Okay, that looks right.
That is the thing to.
The terms of the
We want this to point here. Our new free trunk to point to the same thing.
You're in the tree.
That's it. I was probably the screen. That's
Yeah, I feel like
I know, I don't like random stuff.
It's from a friend I have.
I'll
More
think
friends.
of now. I got later this guy. Right now it's
Fine.
okay. Right now it's
Fine. We'll talk about during Leo lunch.
later this
Later, like 15 minutes. Oh, we're doing this.
No, lock in.
Well, from John, I don't know if I need to look in and
X is the
feel
first
it,
thing,
right?
so I guess
Yeah,
this is
okay.
like how you get to the right what where.
I know that's the same thing you were looking at, Richard.
Okay,
We're gonna call free on this. It's the same bug.
which is where we're like overriding.
It's gonna use this. This is not for my byte back. So now we're at the start of this.
So are you like actually out of
So this one's 3, that's like this.
where?
Like now it's gonna run the bird.
Yeah, okay, so,
It'll use the forward pointer.
That's something.
Actually like dusting.
And then it says how I feel like that did not come out. Like, never heard of
so, your size,
beautiful political intrigue.
your size here is what when you write over it.
Previous.
Did you?
It doesn't like to.
Big chunk in there? I believe I should. Okay. Is it immediately previous to this?
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
so then this is 10. And then this one.
It's like somewhere.
How was that favorite?
Forward pointer is now now we're at address. We're going to write to address instead of the second one. Because usually it's the next one. But now it's pointing to whatever we want. And then it's going to write the previous one. So like,
No, it's X.
normally it would overwrite the pointer to the previous. So in the back there. Okay. And
This will
then,
make your life better.
so say we have.
Actually, I'll show this to everybody.
The normal pointer should usually be 1, 2, 3, and like 1, 2.
Maybe we're just not looking at the right thing. Because like.
See how I wrote this out?
You write the.
Overflow previous size, overflow my size, overflow next, overflow pre. My overflow chunk is pack header. Same with the fake. Fake pre size, fake my size, fake next, fake pre. Here's the fake chunk. And then when I write it out, I've got the garbage, my fake chunk, and my overflow chunk. It's super readable. It's not a pile of garbage numbers that no one can understand. Make your life easy and make your code readable.
I do that.
Okay? Don't look at the answer, look at the structure.
You can explain the way that.
When I tell you these things,
Yeah, like
pretend I'm talking to my 18-year-old self and I'm trying to save myself from getting my first 2 gray hairs.
How do I mean?
Whenever I tell you something like don't hard code a stack address, that's not because I want to be mean to you or I feel like there's an aesthetic reason for it. I'm trying to save you from suffering as a human monkey creature. And all of these things will save you from suffering and add to your understanding. So do those things. One of those things is make your stuff readable, name it, then pack it, then put it together. Even if the code is longer, make it readable. Like this is a 3rd or 4th order problem. There are several problems to solve, and if you solve the first one, and then you start working on the second one, everything from the first problem goes right out of your head. And if all you got is numbers, and you've got to change some of those, you're going to want to know what they are. Okay? So label it all.
So I think I got to crash on data 32. Right?
Yeah, show me where you're crashing.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw.
You can still like change
So right now, without like.
Still change it.
Yeah, so.
It just has to be the valid.
I mean, we do care about these programs.
Yeah, you're right, you got it.
Yeah, but I'm a little confused on like what we're supposed to like what
Oh, yeah.
I understand that like we're adding OHC and like I can like
Do you
figure out like an
understand why
address.
that's happening?
No, I just don't get like what I should set
This also has it.
It's gonna.
like ECX to.
Yeah,
Because it's like an
that's your
address,
where.
right? Yeah. So you have
Just like you had in point 1. have it right where, that's what you probably want, but it's reciprocal.
Yeah.
Because what's gonna happen is, whatever you need, that's also reciprocal, right? So it's a limited reciprocal.
Yeah. What were, because I'll just put the average and subtract. I don't know what I don't know how to make it crash. It's not
Right? So the way that I
like what is that?
V table, and then there are pointers in the V table, and that's
Maybe like cover both chunks.
write that V table properly.
No, she was talking about like how to like export. But she was like,
So that's the next step. It's gonna say, all right, cool, I consolidated this. Now I'm gonna consolidate the other ones. And so you're gonna have to get out of that free without. Okay. So get the override. Show me that you got the override.
Oh, so I guess the free
And
the fourth.
That's how I get the header. Okay, you get the header. I'm pretty sure you get the header.
remember that you've got that plus C in there, so whatever your target is, and write it out so it's understandable.
Okay.
Is that not correct?
And also.
That's actually just breaking down.
That's how, that's my method.
Any variable that may have to change while you're working on this, split it out into its own variable, and then you will have a secondary version of it that has been modified or packed or whatever, but you want the raw version right there. So if you have to change it 50 times, you just change it one spot, and you don't have to worry about the packing or anything else manipulation.
I think that's about right.
So we're trying to like.
Yeah.
You've seen my, like,
I know, and your coworkers are gonna take you out back and hit you with soap in a sock until you stop doing that, and then you'll learn.
probably technically speaking.
Make your life easy. Write pretty code that makes sense and make your life easy. Just punching yourself in the face. I'm not getting hit.
Okay, so I understand that we're like overwriting the next chunk, and I figured like that's like what I should do for that. I
It does
didn't
get 100 on the auto.
like right so far.
But it's a lot of Python byte strings.
Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah, no, it does not. Cause like I figured it's this one, right?
It's not the credit.
Wow.
So we're just.
I didn't do it for the.
Okay. No, you're
Probably
sending it
should
to as an argument, and it's sent
Well, actually,
through
what I-
standard in.
Oh, that makes sense. Thank you.
Look at my,
Anyone who is trying to send this as an argument, be aware gets pulls from standard in, so you've got to use the arrows like you did on the other one. Now you're crashing.
Yeah, now it crashes. That's cool.
Or byte.
And then from there,
So do disass.
I was being, I don't know. This is your shellcode, this is plus equals. So like, this is the fixer shellcode, and this is the shellcode shellcode.
This is of course what's going to happen. Some people are learning how to XDAF.
Oh, I always have to have
Stefan was on that.
So like, this is the.
It worked just first time for me. It worked for me too. I've been doing a lot of
So what did you write there?
so I just wrote a
I
bunch
know
of.
it's just because like.
Yeah, let's do it.
And I'm assuming that hit like the
The free size.
Apparently send
So
files.
this is what you're gonna do now. Now that you know that you're gonna crash in free, you're gonna make those two fake chunks. Right, so you're gonna make your
Well, no, he's getting a minus 22.
fake chunk so that it's equal to, and then you're gonna overwrite one fake chunk. Right next to each other, and you're gonna make all the sizes work out.
I label my rock gadget.
Size,
My rock gadgets.
my size for T-Buff 2 is not gonna change, it's called full size build.
Yes, they are.
Size of previous size for fake chunk, my size is 10.
That's not how that works. Oh no, you just have your gadget set outside.
No, this is actually the better way to do it. I put it into Rob gadgets and just took all the gadgets. And what I do is I literally just like comp the ones that's just a habit of like years.
So I mean, that's free.
And now it's.
It would never occur to me to have gadgets.
Alright, the one formula that was free. So, we're these together for 1 month. Okay, now we just went out. That's right. Both of those free counts are going to get pulled out of the figure. And we want to be added bigger.
That is my fixer shell code.
I also
So,
think.
we're going to use that one link on the link list to get the article.
Mine is
So what you need to do is say, this one's going to be free, we can make free one.
I would do it. I would do it.
That's a good thing.
So that's
I
what
would
we
insert
pay.
my shell code in that. And I would compile said shell code. And I would use hexdump-c to open the shell code. And I would use my mouse to copy and paste that shell code.
When you hold up,
what I do is I use
To make that into a
got three entries, let me get a
because you literally put it in the online disassembler and verify that it actually looks right. And then take that
what I do. I go use all my I disassemble the thing and then get
I agree.
Yeah.
I also feel like.
Yeah, no, that's what I was always doing, because I'm like, there's probably a better way to do it, it's just that it's more effort than doing this anyway, so that's.
Oh, as in like.
If I want to remove this from the linked list, I say this guy next is equal to my next.
Just assume you had to do manual offset primarily.
And I say my next prev is equal to my prev.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
And now this guy's gone. It's no longer in the list. Right? And by doing that, we're going to essentially run the code that says x plus c eax
it's seg files are prior to.
eax plus 8. That's what that looks like in its time, right? You're going to have control of both of these things because they're going to be the previous and the next in.
Okay, you can read the page.
Okay? And if we control all of this, we control this, we control this, we can write wherever we want with whatever we want.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just a number of.
We control the registers.
Where is the pointer?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Verify that you.
Oh, you got it?
I'm trying to put
So,
because you want to
we get two controls. I'll probably figure this out.
That shit's crazy. I can't believe anyone actually sees
I put in that because I have like something, I like put my own like
I put my fixer shell code. I just went through a whole fucking list of shit that I didn't have to get.
Do you see like your dumb values?
No, I wrote my own.
Your goal here should be to move the table such that
It's an address.
You should do that.
and then right. That target.
Like seriously,
I guess. Do you have a pointer to some place?
Corrupting the
This is what I was checking out. Like the last.
I have
Like I was not there.
I was like,
You are gonna have to get out of the way without
yeah, I don't see mine either. I don't know.
I don't know. Probably just practice. Your next job is someone's just like set it up and overwrite that and then you're gonna crash the free. And we're gonna have to figure out how to get within the free.
I thought.
Which means that at crash time in free, one of them is going to go to 1010 and see your number. Okay, like so then we'll try to get you out.
Three homeworks for nothing else.
We're now at the end of normal class. And the beginning of grad seminar. How many people have it crashing in free? How many people don't have it crashing at all? Everyone who doesn't have it crashing, go sit with Stefan. Stefan, teach them to make it crash. I want everybody crashing and kind of understanding why it's crashing. I suspect the people who don't have it crashing because they're they're sending it as an argument and not piping it to standard in.
Can you go over how we can like see if we're crashing at the right place and all of that in GDP?